Falls Hardware got its original start back in 1895 under the Loomis family. They were in the business for approximately probably 30-some years, and then other entities started buying out the company, and the name was changed in around 1924. My dad started working for the company right around wartime, World War II, and he was a kid at that time, naturally, and he went in the service, and he came back out. He was working for a gentleman by the name of John Bagley. He went back down after he got out of the service. Mr. Bagley hired him back, and so he started working there again. And then in probably, I think it was around February of 1948, the store burnt. And they moved out here on State Road and opened in 1949. I've been hanging around the hardware store pretty much all my life. Seen the good times, the bad times, the in-between times. And it's something that I've come to enjoy over the years. It's getting harder and harder to do, just due to the fact that I suppose probably some of the bigger stores have taken a lot of it away. Some of the smaller stores all have hardware in it. So it's become a business, whereas once you had a large clientele and retailed a lot of hardware and all the things that go along with it, it's gotten a little smaller over the years. I basically am pretty small. I basically have just the family now. It's me. I have a brother that works part-time. My daughter works part-time. And my wife, she keeps the books for me. So it's pretty much a family-owned store. Basically, as you look through the store, the new gondolas are out. We have some plumbing. We have some electrical. We have some keys that we cut over there in the main aisle. We have a little bit of paint in the back, cleaning supplies, and a lot of hardware on the wall over there. We have a little bit of everything. We don't have everything, but we try to have a little bit of what we feel our customers need and what we can service them with. Personally, my dad really didn't want me here. My dad wanted me to be doing something else. But when I got out of service, he wasn't in real good health. So when he asked me what I was going to be doing, I said, well, I'm going to work for you for a while. And he said, oh no, he said, he says, be like your brother, go down and be a policeman, be a fireman, get some kind of a job where you've got benefits, something that will pay you. I said, no, I said, you're not, until you get in good health, until you get better, I'll work for you. And then we'll figure out what's going to go on. And after I started working for him, it was like night and day. It wasn't a thing where it was ever mentioned again. It was all right. And so, as I say, but my dad didn't want me here. He didn't. And he thought I could do better. But you do what you do and what you enjoy. It's not always a matter of money. You do what you enjoy. But would I want my children to take this over? Or would I want... I can truthfully say no. I don't believe that I would. I don't think there would be enough here, to get them, to make them a good living. This is the original minute book that shows the incorporation, June 1895. And this is one of the things that has made it down through the years. And it goes up to about the 1930s, 1940s. It comes to July 2nd, 1924, and that's when the name was changed to the Falls Hardware, as the Loomises were all out of the business by that time. And then I've got a couple papers that my parents saved the morning after the fire, and that was in February of 1948. And the one is the Falls News, the other is the Akron Beacon Journal. And you can see that the fire at that time, they estimated a loss of $250,000. This picture here is of the old Loomis hardware, which this is probably in the time period of about 1900. And then the next picture is about 1921, and that's taken in front of the Falls Hardware, so that would have had to have been after the name change later on in maybe 24, 25, I'm not sure. And the next three pictures are the morning after the fire, which was February 1948. And then we have one picture here of a 1937 baseball team that the store sponsored, and I've got one. And this is a picture of the morning after the fire. People are standing around watching the fire crews or whoever is doing the cleanup. And in the next picture, they always sponsored a baseball team. They happen to sponsor city champs in 1937. And we have one calendar that's made it down through the years of 1932. And somebody brought this in and gave it to me. They said they got it out of a garage sale. So it's been a nice keepsake to have. There's no givens. The large stores have to have affected us to some degree. I don't think you get the treatment in a lot of those bigger stores that you get in the little mom and pop stores, which are pretty much slowly disappearing. I suppose I can't blame everything on the big stores. I don't think they've taken all my business away or put me where I'm at. I can't blame it on them. But I know one thing, they haven't helped either. So we will keep doing what we've been doing, and hopefully we will survive, and hopefully we'll get through this, and we can keep on helping the people that we've been helping through the years.
Hi, my name's Carl Swan, and with Swan Hardware here. My grandfather started here in 1931, opening the store with my dad and his two brothers. They built it up. It used to be just the front part of the store, and they built it up and expanded it over the years. It's been a good business always. It's been a little slow the last couple of years. During that time, my cousins worked here. My one uncle Lloyd, he had two boys, Emery and Ernie, and their sister Mary all worked here growing up, and then they got out on their own doing other businesses. My Uncle Paul had a son-in-law come in the 80s, and that worked out for a few years, or late 70s. Me and him took it over, and it worked out for a few years. Then I sort of went on my own in 88. He had to leave. My grandfather's Emery C. Swan. He's, like I said, he was the one that started in 31. He retired in the late 50s, early 60s, and then my dad and my uncles pretty much took it over. We got into a good business at that point. My dad got into selling closeouts, and for about 30 years we bought closeouts from the Service Star Hardware, who we were purchasing from, and that was very lucrative for us. I've been here since middle 60s. Growing up, I've been here all my life. I'm 54, and I've almost got 40 years working in here. It's been different. I went a couple years in the Navy, got out of there, and came back to here. We're still going, and we're trying to survive. It's a tougher market right now. Big box stores. The economy is really in Summit County, in this area, is not that good right now. It makes it tough for people to buy stuff when they got to pay $3 for gas to even take care of their homes and that. We carry a lot of variety of different products. This is our paint department. These are the maple shells that my great-grandfather built. Gray Seal paint is the line of paint we carry now. It's a very good product. Everybody that we've sold it for over a year now, and everybody who uses it loves it. They said it covers very well on that, and it's very competitive in price. We carry Minwax, different stains, solvents, just a lot of products in paint, about anything anybody would need. We carry a lot. That's one thing with our store. We got a good variety of stuff, from paints to fasteners to fireplaces, ventless gas fireplaces, logs. These are pictures of the back when my dad and my grandfather, actually some of these have my grandfather, my mother actually worked here, my grandmother worked here. My Uncle Paul's in the picture right now, and my Uncle Lloyd. One individual that used to work for us, Russ Aston. My grandmother, my dad, my mom's back there too, back in the back right there. And we used to sell Cochran paints years ago, which they're not around anymore. But that's what the store used to look like, you know, as far back as, well, even 30 years ago. It was like that. And then we've changed it over the years. There's different, different shots here, different people that worked here. My grandfather is right here, and my Uncle Lloyd to his right. there, and my mom's back in there. Everybody worked in the store in those days. It was all family, pretty much. Something else I was thinking about is back in the late 60s when there was riots up and down the street here, we've always had a great rapport with the locals because we never had a broken window. With all that glass and everything, we never had a broken window the whole time during the riots, but you could walk outside and feel the tear gas in the air, in your eyes, stinging your eyes and that. And I always thought that was pretty good that we got along with, you know, everybody here.
Well, at West Hill Hardware here, we started in business in about 1930, I believe in the fall of 1930, and the store was started by my grandfather, Charles Shantz. He was looking for a place to open a hardware and found this spot on West Market Street that was a build-to-suit tenant, and so they put up this building, and we opened up in the fall of 1930. It was originally two storefronts in our building, and one side was a bar and grill or a restaurant, and the other side was the hardware store. The larger side was the hardware store, and so we've been in the same location since that date. Through the years, had very many family members work here. My grandfather started and worked with his brother Bill for many years, Bill Shantz. And then later my uncle Elton Kimberly worked here, and then my father Paul Shantz and his brother Charles or Chick Shantz were here and worked. Well, my father just retired about a year ago, and he's 85 now, be 86 in October. But so, and then my mother worked here for a period of time, and my sister also, during a couple summers, she helped do screens and things. Many of my cousins have worked here, cousin Jack and Ray and Mike and Dave and myself, and then some of my cousin's sons worked here. At one point in time we had 4 generations of Shantzes working here. That was back in about 1980. I've worked here since, I'm Richard Shantz. I worked here since about 1967. I would have been about 14 then, and I think I was in junior high school and worked during summers and maybe some vacations, and then I worked on and off here through you know, high school and then summers, and when I was in college I'd work here in the summer too, and then I graduated school and started working here full-time in about 1977, I guess. And then have been here ever since, and so now I own and operate the hardware store myself with many other employees. However, I think all the other family members are gone now, being my improvement products, and well, some of the products are still the same that we've carried for years and years, but the focus of the business is a little different now. I think probably our strongest selling items are plumbing related, you know, because people are always you know, in the emergency to fix their toilets or their sinks or their drains and their faucet washers. All kinds of you know, common plumbing things are something that nag you, and if they're in bad shape, they're going to be the first things that you fix. So that's largely where our strong suit is. But some of the items that we've carried through the years were you know, common builders hardware and paint supplies. We make a lot of keys. It's just the category of hardware is very broad, and so it really covers a big area. That some of the things that we used to carry years ago that we're not so much involved with now are like housewares, like pots and pans, and pottery. Decorative items like lamps and things. We used to carry things like that years ago. Also We used to sell toys. At Christmas, I've been told, I don't remember this, but they used to set up model trains in the store and cover the counters with big boards and just set up like Christmas lights and all kinds of toys and things that normally the rest of the year were packed. And I hope it continues to be so, and I'm looking forward to being here as long as we can service the community and do what I think is a good job. So.
I'm Tom Gamoff from Gamoff Hardware and Supply here in Copley, Ohio. We're a family-owned, operated hardware store, local business. Our store has been here since, this building has been here since 1948. My father and my uncle actually started the business. They worked originally for a local hardware. It used to be a old wooden building. That's where they got their start. My dad started when he was 17 years old and been in the business ever since. He's 93 now, still working every day. Comes and goes when he wants, but he comes into the store every day. My brother John, he's kind of the hunter. My dad's a hunter and fisherman. Hasn't been out for quite a few years. Some of the stuff here are just decoys, the owl and the crow, and some of the stuff we have, memorabilia. This guy in the middle, he's just the jackalope. Okay, this is some equipment from the Copley Volunteer Fire Department when my dad was on the fire department. Some of the equipment up here, one of his contemporary firemen was Jim Snyder. Those are his boots and his helmet up on top there. And some of the other stuff was just fire equipment, things we've had donated or gotten over the years. We have a lot of people bring old farm tools in, just different things, kind of add to our collection or to our museum, we like to call it. The old rope blocks, and that's a wagon jack. When they wanted to change a wheel on a wagon, they just use that to pivot it, lift it up a little bit to get the wheel off. In the last few years, since the big stores, what we call the big box stores, the discounters, a lot of them moved into the area, and they've cut our business quite a bit. So it's hard for us to sell the big ticket items anymore. We have a lot of the pieces, parts, things that they don't sell. And actually there's quite a few of the big stores have people in there, local people that work there, and they know us. They actually send business our way, so that's we appreciate that. But it seems to be getting harder and harder over the years, depending on the economy in general and how people are work that they do, and a lot of people have been laid off the shops in town here especially, and it seems to be getting rougher and rougher for almost everybody. Any of the small businesses, not just ours, but a lot of the small business and some of the bigger businesses too. Hearing a lot of
I'm John Gamoff. I'm
people
the
come in
oldest,
and say
son of Addie Gamoff. Been in the store ever since I was started here, I guess, when I was 5 or 6 years old. For about $3 a week, cleaning the floors, to clean the bathroom. And then after I got up into school a little bit more, I was big deal. I got to punch in on a clock in the back for 50 cents an hour. And I thought I was one of the big boys, so I've been with the store since it was established here in 1948 or 47. Worked all the way up through, went to college, went in the service, come back out. And I've done the firewood in here since I was 14, and when I came back out in 1970 to 1972, I went into the forestry business, or the firewood full time. Before that, I farmed about 250 acres and worked at a store here in Copley. So I've been here, I don't know anything else, been never employed by anybody else except myself, self-employed, or by the family and that. I basically take care of the firewood and the licensed dealership that we have in here. I really don't take a paycheck from the store, but I'm here. That's to keep things going. And I've known most of the people here in Copley, like my dad has for years and years. Right here at the store, you'll see pictures in here and that. We're trying to get more and more of our old farmers and what's left of the families to bring pictures in, trying to turn it more into a museum to make it interesting to come in and see what real history is. You'll find pictures in here. My Uncle John, I guess is what I was named after, was a constable back in the old days, and you'll see pictures of stills he busted up, and they used to ride motorcycles, and when it was kind of like not a frontier town, but the old time hardware that we used to have. We sold International Harvester machinery, which this building is the second building ever built in the United States by International Harvester. And Dad and Uncle Bill went up to Chicago, and they had a model of it, and they talked them into building the first real privately owned hardware. So that's the design of the building, is really an International Harvester store. And then when the farming broke out is when we went into almost full-time hardware and service for Copley. And basically we've gone on from there to where we are now. So we've really never stopped selling hardware or whatever. My firewood, it goes along with the store, brings people in, kind of subsidy. And we've been doing this, like I said, since I was 14, so I got about 40-some years in the firewood. And the hardware, I'm 59 years old, and this store, we opened up basically when I was born, the year the store opened up. So the store and I are about the same age. And then my Tom's been in here all his life. He's never worked anywhere else. My brother, Tim, he's got interest in the store, but he's a pilot. Started when he was 13. Went on to be a pilot, stayed with American Eagle, and still a pilot. When he retires, he probably will come back into the store if we're still here and hanging on. So it'll be the three brothers, and we're hoping that Timmy's niece and nephew take an interest in it so we can pass it on. But we'll go until we can't go any longer.
Well, I've been here and been this 75 years. I started out with Seth Miner Store when I was 2 years before I graduated from high school. I started in, that was 1930. And I worked when I come from school, I used to go in and work the store, and my brother and I, then in 1942, Seth Miner wanted to get out of business, so he and I bought the store. Just the merchandise, not the property. And we operated till my brother Bill, of course he's gone now, he had to go to the Army in one of the first ones that were called. So I run the store for a year, and then Seth Miner come back in and helped until the war was over. My brother Bill come back out of the Army, and we bought the whole, we took over the store, and then Seth Miner wanted to get out of the business, so he sold the property and all to Dick Walters. So we built this building here, the second International Harvester building that went up in the United States. They took me to Chicago, and they had the sample building just like this one out there, and they talked me into building it. And we built this building in 1948, the whole building and the properties, for $45,000. And this was the second building went up like this one in the United States. And then I lost my brother Bill and my partner, let's see, 40, almost 45, somewhere around 45 years ago. So we operated it with my boy's son Tom, and So, well, we just kept getting bigger and bigger in the hardware till where we're at now. Probably one of the oldest hardwares in Summit County. The Shantz family up in West Hill, Akron, why, they were in business when I started in, and there's only about 3 of us old hardwares left around Summit County anymore from way back. Now, West Side down in Barberton, the owner of that property sold to his 3 helpers about 5 years ago, wasn't it, Tom?
Something like that.
About 5 years ago, so there's only 3 of us old hardware stores left in Summit County anymore. And I've enjoyed every minute of it, but now it's getting harder and harder for me to be here every morning when I can't see and hear. So I just enjoyed life and